Greetings, Rajee Narinesingh here. I am a transgender author, actress, and activist. Oh, yes, honey, an activist. For over 20 years, fighting the good fight in the trenches, fighting the good fight in the name of transgender equality. I'm in my bathroom where a lot of the magic happens, but I had to take time out to do this video message to Caitlyn Jenner and to the world. First, I want to say congratulations, Miss Caitlyn Jenner, for coming out. I mean, it's nothing like being able to stand in your truth and live your authentic self, no matter who you are. And I also feel that by you coming out, you are really having a lot of people take a second look, maybe even a third look, at transgenderism and what that all means. People that wanted to ignore us or not even see us, basically. So I think that's really, really powerful. Since you've come out, I've heard so many people give you your props about how much courage you've had to have and how strong you are. And I totally agree. You have to have courage and be strong to stand in your truth as a transgender individual. You really do. But I couldn't help to think about all my other transgender sisters and brothers, including myself, who have stood in our truth with only 2 pennies to rub together, with no resources or hardly any resources. We stood in our truth. And transitioning is a difficult thing, but when you don't have the resources to do it, it becomes way more difficult. And many of us did that without all of the money, without all of the wonderful resources and connections that you have, Miss Caitlyn Jenner. So I think it's important to remember that when you people are looking at that beautiful Vanity Fair cover, and believe me, honey, Miss Caitlyn, you look gorgeous. But that cover was done by, a professional photographer, Annie Leibovitz, who by the way, I'd love to do a photo session with. And professional makeup artists and the lighting and all of that. And so it's wonderful, but I think it's important for people to remember it took a lot for us to get to this moment. A lot of transgender people standing in their truth and dying because of who they are. Just because of who they were. They were attacked and killed. If you didn't die, you got your ass beat. And boy, did I get mine beat. So I think it's important to remember that it took a lot for the doors to open so Miss Caitlyn Jenner could walk through and grace the cover of Vanity Fair. I was having a conversation with a girlfriend of mine. She happens to be a fellow activist the other day. And, we were talking about the whole Caitlyn Jenner thing. And she said, girl, it's wonderful. All of this is wonderful. And it's definitely helping to move our equality movement forward. But she said, I want to see what Miss Caitlyn is going to do for us. And, I thought about that. Too much is given. Much is expected. It really is. She stands to make, they're saying, I think, $500 million for coming out. Now, I know it's early in the game, but I would hope that somewhere down the road, maybe an organization is opened up or a foundation is opened up for transgender people through her resources. Maybe she might give a nice donation to some of the LGBT organizations that really do try to help transgender people that are struggling to keep a roof over their head, to put food on the table, because they can't get a job because they're transgender and people don't want to hire them. Okay, so, it's wonderful when you look at a beautiful cover, but it's another thing when you are transgender and you're dealing with everyday survival in a world that in many cases do not want to support you. We still have our issues. And yes, we've come leaps and bounds. I can go back 5 years to now and see a big difference. But we, as a transgender community here in America and abroad, throughout the world, have our issues. Housing, health care, employment, how we are treated just when we go out into society. It's one thing to look at a beautiful Vanity Fair cover, but how are you looking at that transgender person that walks into the supermarket? Are you treating them with respect? Or are you gawking at them and laughing and taking them as a big joke and forgetting that that transgender person is a human being that's standing in their truth and that it takes a lot to do that? The civil rights movement and Martin Luther King would have not been what it was if it was not for other activists, civil rights activists that were out there alongside of Martin Luther King helping to make things happen. So I think it's important for all of us to remember what it took for us to get here. I want to wish you, Miss Caitlyn Jenner, all the best. Much happiness as you live this new chapter in your life and you're living your authentic truth. And remember, it took a lot for those doors to open. Don't forget us girls. Don't forget us trans men trans men and women that put so much into this movement. And the ones that have died, we all stand on their shoulders. Yes, and even you, Miss Caitlyn Jenner, you stand on the shoulders of the fallen, and there were many. Love, peace, and blessings.